Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to try to get to the bottom of why your electric bill is so damn high.
Yeah, something I think I've mentioned in videos before, something we talked about. We're like, how come when everything's energy efficient and they got rid of other types of light bulbs, you have to use the LED types and all that stuff now. Why does everything else, why is your bill keep going up even though you're getting energy efficient stuff? Well, there's a reason for it. It turns out you're just paying for the rich corporations to get, deals on their electric, or to have our aging grid get brought up to speed for AI companies.
Yeah, they're blaming AI for it, but there might be some truth to this. We're going to talk about. I know that here in Pennsylvania, everybody knows we're in Western PA, and they talk about PA specifically, that the electric rates have gone through the roof.
They are ridiculous. And then, but meanwhile, you go down the street or you're driving around and there's trees laying on the lines.
Yeah.
We've had more trouble with power outages this past year than ever because they did not maintain or care for the lines. But now it matters because they need to fix it up the code so that these, data centers, in air quotes, can have low cost electricity, but someone has to pay for it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I about woohooed when I saw the electric bill this month. I'm like, this is like way higher. And it's not just because of the air conditioning. It's been creeping up. I went back and looked at last year's. I'm like, yeah, we're up like $75 over what we used to.
And I've been bringing it up to you. I've said, why when everything is energy efficient? Because with our house, everything in it is energy efficient.
Yeah.
I make sure I buy energy efficient stuff. I do a lot of things to conserve stuff and everything else. But no matter what you do, your bill keeps going up and up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in our newspaper yesterday, there was an article talking about this. This is what led us to bring it up into this video. But apparently, I know PA was being mentioned. Other states are going to start fighting back because it shouldn't be up to the consumer, the general public consumer, to pay all the money so that the AI companies and the corporations can generate more revenue by costing you jobs, by replacing people with AI and using constant data centers. It's like mining crypto, but like worse.
Yeah, now it's not everywhere, but they're pointing out specifically Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey. They said on the East Coast, but they're blaming AI. This come from Newsweek. Eye-popping electric bills come due as price of AI revolution. Now, okay, I want to stop right there before we get into it. There are, especially with journalists, there are people out there looking for every reason to take a shit on AI because they're against AI.
Yes.
But, and this
makes sense.
This makes sense because this is coming from somebody who I'm probably more pro AI than a lot of other people in this space. I'm not really pro AI. I'm just like, it's here. You need to learn to work with it or you're going to be obsolete. Right. So it's just, I think, resignation that this is where things are going. That being said, I have noticed a definite increase in our electric bills over the last year. I thought maybe it was just deregulation, but this does seem to make a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because these are centers, like those states you're mentioning are becoming the centers for all this stuff.
Well, our neighbor used to work for the electric company. We'll talk about the outages. We've had a lot of outages this year, more than we've ever had, and they've gone for days. Like It's not just, and we live in a town, so it's not like we're out in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just weird that the entire time that we've been in this area, we've never really had any outages, or if we did, they were very quick. And then all of a sudden we're getting hit with like major, like multi-day outages.
Well, again, I want to point out that in the past, we weren't having lines with trees laying on the lines for as long as they are. So as soon as you have a storm with winds, or you have like ice, and we live in PA, it happens often, that just snaps this stuff down. And then we're having outages that can't be repaired except because there's multiple failure points across the board. Well, and we have an aging infrastructure that no one's fixing.
And aging population and aging roads. But no, we our neighbor, he was telling us that. He said that, back in the day, they used to always make sure everything was, trimmed and clean, and it was their responsibility.
Until recently it was.
He said the pandemic, basically, they got out of the habit of doing it, and then they just never start doing
No,
it again.
they stopped doing it, realized they saved a lot of money, and they didn't come back. But now they're going to suddenly clean up their act because they want to attract AI companies with these data centers, and they're going to, like, they're mentioning Microsoft and Apple, different places. They want to run these, it's kind of like, where you're mining crypto, where it's 24/7, that it takes a lot of energy. They want to use this energy. They need it updated so they could generate all this energy and take the lion's share of it. But they have to pay pennies on the dollar, and then all the expense is going to trickle down to the consumers. And it already is happening. And you know what I say to that? Fuck you. You're the rich corporation. You fucking pay for it.
Oh, they never do. We always pay. That's like the rich corporations never pay their fair share of taxes, but they will. If you're a middle class business owner, you get juiced the hardest of like any tax bracket. I swear
not
to
in
God.
a fun way.
No, I'm just saying, like they will squeeze you for every penny. And I've actually heard tax people say the reason they go after the small business owners in the middle class is they will pay. The corporations have these lawyers that they can get out of pretty much anything, but they know that if they threaten mom and pop, they will pay.
So the middle class is once again paying for everything.
We're paying for everything.
Anybody with electrical bills is paying for this, unless you're on one of those programs where you get free, which is a whole other story.
That's a whole nother. You were paying for that too. But I'm just saying, like, we're paying for that too. Anyway, they said even if you're not using a Chat GPT or AI images, you're still paying for it. They said that because of the tools pushing for more power, they said that the bills are up. The bills are up. They said this summer, electricity bills surged across the eastern United States. In Trenton, New Jersey, the average home's monthly bill rose by $26. In Columbus, it climbed $27, largely driven by rising costs in the region's wholesale power markets. According to figures from AEP Ohio and other regional monitors, demand from data centers is a key factor behind the increases. I mean, this sounds...
because everybody else is staying the same. Why... your bills might go up some, but this is beyond just like a little bit of an increase. And it's more than $20-some, I can tell you that.
Well, this aligns with what I saw. In May of 2025, the average U.S. household paid $17.47 per kilowatt hour, up from $16.41 a year earlier, a 6% increase. Some states saw much sharper spikes, including Maine up 36% and Connecticut 18%. We're up... it feels like we're up about 20 to 30% from last year.
Well, they're saying that these states should expect another increase to be up to 30% higher, 20-something to 37% higher by 2030. You already can't afford it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I mean, this is what's so frustrating about where we're at right now. Where, like, I guess my thing is, like, I can see the future where, I feel like we're in a fork in the road with technology. It's like we can go to dystopian hellscape, or we can go to like the retro futuristic utopia that Walt Disney saw. We could go either way, right? And like I understand the technology being used to make our lives better. That's the ideal. But again, when you get human greed, and then that is thrown into the mix, and that's a primary motivator for doing this, then yeah, we're leaning toward the dystopian hellscape because the economy sucks. I mean, it sucks.
Instead of making the consumers pay it, why can't the states just give tax credits to these companies? I guess your taxpayers are paying it, but states are fighting back. Like the people that are running in states are getting mad because they're like, we're getting a record number of complaints from people about their utility costs because it's just getting so expensive, and they keep raising the rates every damn year. People can't afford it, and then, like I said, somehow you're using far less power than you used to use, but your bill is like twice as much as it was several years ago. This is bullshit. And there had to be a reason. It made no sense. This makes complete sense.
Yeah. So here's what they're saying is going on. So the pressure on the grid is even more extreme in electricity managers like PJM, a little-known company that operates the electric grid that serves more than 67 million people across 13 states in eastern U.S., including Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Jersey. In December 2024, capacity prices jumped from $30 to $270 per megawatt day, a 9-fold increase that triggered lawsuits and political backlash. Pennsylvania sued PJM. Maryland passed emergency legislation, and New Jersey's governor demanded the CEO's resignation. $30 to $270 per megawatt day.
Yeah. Did they say why?
They said at the heart of the price surge are massive data centers built to support AI. According to PJM's independent market monitor monitoring analytics, Roughly 3/4 of the capacity price hike was tied to demand from current and planned data centers. And I know they're
right,
building
then they
some.
should pay for it. They can pay for their own fucking. So what, they're the ones draining the electricity and they're the ones using it. Why were the consumers given a 270 per megawatt charge? You know, why are you paying for that for their data center? Why are we? And then that's what the article, I don't know if it's going to talk about in there, but the article that was in our paper was basically like they're giving them special rates because they're using so much power, and then then offloading the difference, offloading the expense onto the consumers. So in their fees, they're paying, way more money in fees, side fees, than what they're actually using to pay for these places instead of them paying their fair share.
Yeah, they said
record profits, guys, for all these companies. They
said, yep, the watchdog estimates an additional $9.3 billion in future costs will start hitting consumer bills this month. They said that they think it's going to jump from $6 billion to $15 billion annually due to the data centers.
The data centers can pay for it. They're taking our jobs, they're replacing everybody with AI and again, as a tool, yes, but as a replacement, no. And that's what these companies that they mentioned in the article I saw, the ones they were mentioning are the ones who are the ones that are bringing the AI. They're bringing the AI and replacing people. So they should be the ones who pay for it, because you can't expect the people to pay for it when they don't have jobs because these companies replace them with AI. It's absolute insanity. I can't even wrap my head around how it's the average customer's responsibility to pay for these corporate electricity things. And then if they're just upping the grid to make it stronger to support the AI thing, which I do believe the electric grid needs updated massively. Yeah, it needs updated. I do agree. And I can understand passing a little bit on to the consumers or through the taxes of the state. I get that. But they're passing the lion's share of it. The corporations are the ones causing the drain. They should pay for most of it.
Yeah, and I think that's, people didn't bargain for that. I mean, this is the thing, like, AI is going to transform our society in ways we can't even imagine. And this is part of it right here. Us having to foot the bill for all the data centers. What you do
is they're using to replace jobs.
Yeah, you should honestly roll that cost into the cost of a subscription for an AI service. If you're going to use it, then you pay for the electric for it.
And if NFTs and crypto and that was so bad for the environment, how bad for the environment is this shit?
It's funny because the people, I remember that seems like a whole lifetime ago where everybody's complaining about NFTs, and you had people on Twitter complaining about NFTs, and it turned out that them tweeting all day actually used more energy than the NFTs. Mm-hmm. And now nobody talks about it. And this could be the same way. So I kind of worry about this too. So they rush, build all these data centers, all over the place. What happens if the AI bubble bursts? Yeah. And they don't need all these data centers? Or is it going to be like they just sit empty like malls or theme parks in Japan? Probably. They just sit there and rot?
I mean, the only upside to that is the fact that we would get a better energy grid, which we have needed for years. It's just so funny to me, like ironic funny, that people have been saying, hey, the electric grid needs updated. The electric grid needs up. It's dire need. The government does jack shit to do it. But as soon as these corporations who give them money and lobby and shit come along, we're going to finally fix all the problems, but everybody else has to pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way it is, right? I mean, it's basically industry drives. So consumers, plebs, normal people, we get the runoff from industry. We get the runoff from like space exploration. We get the runoff from the military. Right? So much of our technology, so much of things that we take for granted came from the war or from
true.
Going to the moon, or
a lot of things came from NASA, like Kevlar and stuff.
Right. So, we consumers benefit, but I mean, people are it's gonna hurt, and people are gonna be like, well, you just pay it because this is gonna be.
Well,
it's like,
I think people should pay some of it because you're all using it, and that should be through taxes for the state. That should be part of your tax dollars. But
so sure as hell fix the potholes in fucking Pennsylvania. Have you ever been to Pennsylvania? Have any of you been to Pennsylvania?
I hope your shocks are good.
I hope your shocks are good. It will kill your car. It will break your axle. It will, they don't take care of the roads here. They really don't.
Or they do construction projects, and they do all winter or all summer and into early fall, and you get just a little bit of road. I mean, how long has 22 and stuff been under construction, different places and things? I mean, I haven't been up there a while. I guess it's over now, but it was under construction for years and years and years.
I used to live in Lancaster, and 30 30 was under construction, I swear to God, for like 4 years, 5 years.
22
It was
forever.
insane. And I honest to God think that this is partially because of the unions and stuff like that. I think they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna, piddle around a little bit today. But like we all have to pay for that. I hate that. And Pennsylvania's tax, I'm gonna bitch about it. Pennsylvania's taxes are fucking ridiculous. We pay through the fucking nose and the roads aren't even good. And now they're going to raise our.
Pennsylvania has more roads than any other state too, which is part of the problem. But
yeah, well, some of these roads aren't even roads. It's like a gravel, freaking jigglebilly thing that goes out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. Like I swear to God, some of these roads, my GPS
they don't
once
usually fix those, but yeah.
My GPS just coming back from your parents' house one time took me through the fucking woods on a fucking gravel road. I thought I was going to get raped and murdered. It was like, it took me out in the middle of nowhere, and I swear I heard banjos. I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm in the middle of the woods, and I'm hearing banjos. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
I'm sure I know which road it was, too. Anyway.
I'm like, this isn't a road. This is like going to some serial killer's shack out in the middle of the woods.
There used to be a house back there that burnt down that they used to do all kinds of rituals back there. If it's what I'm thinking of. So, there's that. But it is insane. And it's like these states are kissing ass these corporations. These corporations have spent all kinds of money lobbying, and the money they're lobbying they could have used to help pay for some of this stuff. And all that's happening is people aren't being told that you're paying for it. It's like, I get paying for part of the electric grid because it's, we all use it. And I get that. That's true. But the general public shouldn't have to pay a huge whopping increase when there's no money to pay for this. Most families are on the edge as it is, so that corporations don't have to pay for it, and it's offloaded to everybody else. It's not my job to pay for your ass to run a data center. Then charge subscriptions for your AI service, charge more money so you can afford it.
So since we're talking about AI, we'll throw this into the mix too. So the AI industry is horrified.
My friend Sarah sent me this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a couple days ago that they're going to face the largest copyright class action ever certified. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how far they're going to get, because it's like, I think AI is going to be one of those things where the laws change depending on, again, the corporate interest. It's going to be like Disney with Mickey Mouse. Like, I think they'll be like, oh, well, technically we didn't store any of the data. It just read all the books and learned how to write.
Is it about training AI? That's what it's about, training AI.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're going to argue, and they're going to argue successfully, about the fact that anybody else could read the books and then write their own works based on what they've read, because pretty much nothing's original. Everything's been done. It's just, how you present it. But even then, it's your flavor of it doesn't mean that it hasn't been done. So you're taking like a lot of different things that you in your life that you've experienced or been, books, movies, music, games, whatever. And you're taking those and then you're synthesizing it through your brain and then making your own stories. But you're taking things that you programmed yourself with to put out something new. And they're going to argue that it's no different than a person doing that. It's just that a person can't ingest like the amount of data that a computer can.
Yeah, and that's just it, because everybody, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't care how creative you are or think you are, you're repurposing things you've already experienced, seen, read, looked at. You're filtering it, you're putting it together in a different way, but that really is how AI works. It's not just, people are like, oh, it's just a copy machine. I'm like, no, it just, like you said, it ingests at a much faster rate than a human. Basically the entirety of the internet.
I would argue you're less likely to get a direct copy from AI because they've ingested so much, they've assimilated so much that they're going to have a much more removed version unless you specifically asked it to be exactly like than we would, because you're limited on how much you can take in. They're unlimited, so that where you might have 100 references, they might have 10,000, 100,000 references. So they're probably going to do something a lot more different if they're able to do something a lot more different because they have a lot more in there, if that makes sense.
And that's kind of what's scary, because again, just imagine an aspiring author or artist being able to, within a couple weeks or a month or however long it takes, to be able to ingest the entirety of everything that's ever been written ever, everything that's ever been drawn, painted ever, anything that's ever been recorded ever, and be able to output something based on that. Whereas with a human, how many years of school do you have to have? You know,
Right.
how
It's
much
just
training,
faster.
how many books? Yeah, it's incredibly efficient.
But it's the same kind of thing. They're going to they could effectively argue that it's no different. Training AI is no different than anybody else, you know, taking in all this stuff and then coming up with their own thing. And I don't know if that'll work, but that's what they'll probably argue. And it's kind of true though.
Yeah, so they said that a whole bunch of authors are suing Anthropic, and they said that if this happens, if this lawsuit goes through, they're looking at fines. Will basically take them out of
They're
business.
going to have to prove that they personally, each one was, harmed in some way, that their stuff was stolen or it was repurposed, and they'd have to prove that. And it's going to be very hard to prove when you have an AI that has been trained on so many things
Already.
that you specifically were the one that it was damaged by this. It's going to be an uphill battle. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is what they're going to argue, and they're probably going to be effective at arguing it.
Yeah, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. I think because there's so much money in AI that this will get hand waved. I don't think it's going to go. It'll get settled. Everybody will get checked for like
lobbyists and stuff.
$20.
Money.
Here you go.
Not
Shut up,
Amazon.
Amazon.
Bribed or anything, but everybody gets $5.
Everybody gets $5. Shut
Settlement,
the fuck up.
But again, it's going to be really, really hard to prove that you personally were damaged to a significant amount by this AI based on the fact that it's been trained by so many people.
Well, that's what I always wanted to do, a Batman story where Batman gives up his wealth, right? And because everybody pressures him to. And so he gives away his fortune to the people of Gotham, and everybody in Gotham gets like a check for like $20 to $50, and then crime just runs rampant because there's no Batman.
Yeah, well, that's what would happen.
Everybody got like $20 to $50 settlement, and that's it. And now crime is over, and then Batman's just like, that's it. I'm moving to another town. Fuck him.
Yeah.
It's like it costs money to be Batman. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Attention, stupid humans. All orcs are evil, just like Gary Gygax and Professor Tolkien warned you. Series 1 of these orc enamel pins are on Kickstarter again for a very limited time. Pick your clan, join the Horde, and cause some mayhem. Go to badorks.com. That's badorks.com.